Yeah.
You want to like them, but you can't.
Are you listening?
What?
Are you listening?
Did you bring me on this show to insult me?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all don't want it with us, man. We straight gangsters over here.
Straight
man.
gangsters. Yeah. It is Friday, September 21st, and you are listening to the Scout Team with Scout Team Sports. Oh my gosh, what a great Thursday night football matchup we had. First, I'd like to introduce myself. I am Loudbeard.
You are the most egotistical, self-deluded person I have ever met.
And all of that is true. And I do have a special guest on the other line with me today. And that special guest is...
Hello?
What's that?
Well, what's up, Loudbeard? How you doing today, man?
I'm doing great. Jimmy from What's Up Sports. I am so glad that you were able to jump on this morning. Our good friend Chris America, he went up to the state of Michigan. He's going to hang out with Jim Harbaugh for a couple days. So I just needed a friend to hang out with me here on Scout Team Sports in the morning, and you stepped up to the plate, my friend. Welcome
Glad to
aboard.
be
How
here,
are you
guys.
doing this morning?
Oh, I'm doing good, man. Just got my coffee going and got off work at 12 o'clock last night and just kind of did some chores all night, and I'm ready to go. Let's do it.
Oh, man. Look at that. Killing it over there. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
I absolutely love it. So I just, without further ado, I think the Baker era has started in Cleveland. Were you able to catch some of that Thursday night game? This was probably the best Thursday night game I've ever seen in my life.
I watched it. I was here and there on my phone, like, because I'll play the games for my coworkers while we're working, right? And I was here and there, and Baker played a phenomenal game. But I kind of want to pump my brakes a little bit, just a little. You know, I think it was me and you when I came on, 2 weeks ago? Last week?
Yep.
Last
I think
week.
it was last week. Yep.
Right after the whole Sam Darnold scenario, where me and you were both going, oh my God, Sam Darnold looked fantastic against the Lions. And then we saw the last couple weeks how that has transpired. So I kind of want to pump the brakes a little bit. I think he's going to have a fantastic career. I still think Sam Darnold's going to have a fantastic career, but I want us just to kind of relax. Not taking anything away from what he did last night. That was phenomenal. That was great football. But I just kind of want to ease into this. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I absolutely know what you're saying. Because we talked about Sam Darnold after week one. I was excited, and I kind of feel like I have egg on my face because he's been a pretty average quarterback since then, a few turnovers here and there. And, you know, he's a rookie. He's got high expectations, but maybe we overhyped him a little bit after that first week performance. Now, this is the problem. I am really terrible at just overreacting about every single thing. And when I saw Baker play last night, there is not a way I can't overreact from that amazing performance. And I would have to say, if I was living in the city of Cleveland right now, I probably would not have gone to sleep. I would have been like in the streets celebrating, almost like when Philly won the Super Bowl with the greased up light poles and just people going crazy.
I don't know if you've seen the videos yet, but it looked like that. It looked like they were having a party in downtown Cleveland last night. It looked like they were having a ball.
And they should. When your team does not win in an entire season, and then you come back and you look like you're a really great team, and you tie, and you have like a really tough defeat because of a kicker, you come out and you celebrate like you should. I saw some of the videos of the Bud Light coolers being opened. I mean, people were excited. Like crowds around these coolers and just going to town on these Bud Lights. One, I think that is a marketing genius for Bud Light to do that. Whoever did that from Bud Light, whatever marketing or advertising or whoever did that, that person deserves the advertising championship MVP.
Absolutely.
And then the other thing is Cleveland, man, congratulations on that big win and celebrate like you should. We talked when the Stanley Cup was won by the Capitals, how Alex Ovechkin went around and was doing keg stands and just celebrating with the Stanley Cup. the Cleveland Browns in Week 3 of the NFL season are celebrating like they won the Stanley Cup or they won the Super Bowl or something. And you know what? I'm all for it. Do you think that it is deserved that they celebrate in this manner?
No, I absolutely, I do. Like, I do and I don't. I think they're going to keep their eye. I think the team will keep their eye on the prize, but I do love it when a fan base does get together and celebrates. Just great. This is a great moment. We're going to be telling our grandkids about the time that we saw Baker Mayfield beat the Jets in Week 3 when they hadn't won a game since 2014, December 2014, I believe. So it's 665 days, if memory serves correct on that. So, hey, you know what? They should party. They should have fun. I completely agree with you. And the way the game transpired was kind of exciting, too. I'm sitting there excited about this game, excited about seeing the Browns, which I don't know that I've ever been this excited about watching the Browns versus the Jets. I mean, this ended up being a marquee matchup when it really shouldn't have been. And I'm sitting there watching it, and Tyrod Taylor was just off. He did not look like he had it. Now, he made a couple first downs with his legs, but they were like 3 and out. He's missing throws. And so I go on Twitter, and I'm like, hey, man, when's Baker coming in? And I send it out to, I tag a bunch of Cleveland Browns fans that like to heckle me about the Browns. And all of a sudden, everybody's like, no, Tyrod's not doing anything wrong. It's the trash offensive line. It's the play calling. Todd Haley's really vanilla with his play calling. And we're just it's everything else. Every excuse in the book except blaming it on Tyrod Taylor. I didn't think Baker was going to come in, but there was some magical football god that just gave Tyrod Taylor or Tyrod Taylor, however you pronounce it, gave him some sort of injury. And when he gets this injury, he goes out. And, I mean, there was the Baker chants, and then the crowd just, like, blows up. And he immediately comes in, and he's, like, throwing darts. Just bullseye after bullseye to the receivers. He's throwing to Njoku. He's throwing to Landry. He's hitting Callaway. Absolutely. I mean, it was crazy. I completely agree. And it was weird because it was like watching the Oklahoma Sooners in Cleveland Browns uniforms. Does that make sense? Like how the offense was set up for Baker at OU. It was very similar to how they ran their offense last night. Just a bunch of quick passes, and then, hey, we're going to hit one over the top real quick. Or try to hit one over the top. Quick passes, hit one over the top, if they have the room. And it really looked like that. Did you get the chance to hear what Hugh Jackson said after the game last night?
I did not. What did Hugh say?
He was asked who's going to start next week. Will it be Tyrod or will it be Baker? And he said he's going to have to look at the tape.
Oh, you know what? I saw a little article about that, and I get that. That's coach speak. That's 100% coach speak. I mean, he doesn't want to just completely commit to Baker, but he would have to be absolutely insane not to start Baker, and I think there could be a revolution in Cleveland. They would overthrow Hugh Jackson. The fans would go to the Cleveland Browns facilities. They would burn it down and carry Hugh Jackson out and just leave him in the streets, and the Browns would be done if they do not start Baker Mayfield next week.
Those Baker Mayfield Color Rush uniforms that they wore last night are now sold out on NFL.com.
Oh, I believe it. Cleveland just needed hope. They needed somebody to come in and give them a little bit of hope, and I think their defense has given them hope. Their defense has been absolutely amazing, and you talked about it looked like Baker at OU. Baker was so much fun at OU, but they did not have a good defense. So he was always having to go in these like 48-40 or 56-48 shootouts.
Yes.
He's got a good defense now. Imagine what he could do if he could light that offense up like he did last night every game with that stout defense that Cleveland has. I mean, this could be something fun to watch. Now, if I remember correctly, Jimmy, you could correct me if I'm wrong here, but were you also one of the bold predictors that said that Cleveland was going to win the division?
I did.
Okay, I thought so. So you and I are on the same boat here. Now,
Yes,
after
sir.
watching last night, how do you feel about that prediction?
I believe it even more. I believe it even
Yes.
more. Yes.
Yeah, you have to. You absolutely have to.
I don't want to get sucked into the moment, but I'm kind of already there, like you said. But I'm trying to pump the brakes, but I can't find the pedal. You know what I mean? Like he just played phenomenal football last night, and
Yeah, I can't stop gushing over this game.
And
Another
you
guy
put in-
that. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. You put into the fact that he hasn't really practiced with the first team offense since like week 3 or 4 of the preseason, I think. You put that into context too, and that's a whole other thing. You know, he doesn't have the chemistry with Jarvis Landry like he did last night. He isn't. I forget the other receiver, Hickson, I believe.
Higgins.
Higgins. That he
Yep.
was throwing to last night. He doesn't really have a true chemistry, but he looked like he did last night. He just walked on the field, and it kind of felt like when Aaron Rodgers ran on the field against the Bears on Monday Night Football a couple weeks ago, where he walked on the field and you go, you know what? They're probably going to win this football game. It was just a weird feeling about it, you know?
Oh man, that's a great comparison. There was something in the air, the crowd just buzzing, and
Yes.
he comes on with this confidence. And Baker Mayfield, we know from his college career, this guy does not lack confidence. He does not lack swag. He came in with an air of confidence. The guy that has never played in an NFL professional regular season game comes in like he owns the place. The crowd loves him, and he puts it up. I'm going to overreact and say we're going to see great things out of Baker this year. And after seeing just that half from last night, I know that my prediction that the Browns are going to win the division, I mean, we basically just signed, sealed, and delivered it right there with that
Right.
performance from Baker Mayfield. I mean, it was against the Jets, so I guess
Yes.
that we shouldn't go too overboard.
The Jets don't have a bad defense. It's their offense that kind of cripples them. You know,
Yeah.
so that's another way to look at it. You could say they could have gotten tired, but whatever. I'm not saying they got tired because they had a whole half to rest up. Their offense was still moving down the field using clock. I'm not going to use that excuse on them. So,
Well, there was another offensive weapon that got a lot of cheering and a lot of applause last night, and that would be their kicker. So after last week losing the game when Zane Gonzalez misses some field goals, when they bring in this new kicker, I had never even heard of him. He had never kicked in the NFL. He's
me
from
neither.
college, and when he kicks that first field goal, I mean, I thought the stadium was gonna like erupt. I mean, I was laughing I was laying in my room watching the game, and I was laughing. Just I couldn't control myself out loud because everybody was excited.
apparently the Browns fans were cheering him on in pregame practice, like warm-ups, like cheering him on, going, "Oh my God, you see that 40-yarder he made? You see that 30-yarder he made?" Like just gushing over the guy, just in warm-ups, like that.
I mean,
and if you think about it, the Browns should be 3-0, just because of that one kicker.
no, I completely agree. Jeff Beck was on the show yesterday, and he said the same thing. He said, this should be a 3-0 team. If we had the right kicker in place and just executed when we needed to execute, this team could easily be 3-0. And
Yes.
I agree with both of you guys. I think this is a team with a ton of talent that's going to turn the corner. And everybody was wondering about this first pick in the draft, Baker Mayfield, when they already had picked up Tyrod Taylor. How is that going to work? They go with the veteran to start the year, and he looked good and at times, but he was missing out on. I don't know. There was a key component that was missing. I don't know.
think part of Tyrod was he knew what was going to happen, and he played not to lose. Is that fair?
I mean, yeah, that's fair. He was kind of trying to be a game manager. I looked at his completion percentage, though, each of these games, and I feel like he's he's like at 50% or less on his completion percentage. And I was looking at him last night, and it's his accuracy. He's just off. He's not hitting his receivers in stride. A couple or deep balls that were just off mark. Callaway's got a ton of speed. This guy could just light it up. He goes deep. He just needs somebody to be able to throw it downfield to him. And Baker's the guy, not Tyrod Taylor. I mean, this is just. I mean, we've talked the first 15 minutes of our show about the Browns, and I still don't feel like it's enough. I mean,
we haven't even hit on the Jets yet. Like,
I know, seriously. But who cares about the Jets? One other exciting play from this game. Cleveland, they wanted to show up in style, so they go to do the 2-point conversion, and they break out the Cleveland special.
Yeah, so I texted Jeff right after that. I texted
that
Jeff,
is
and I was like,
so
is
good.
Yeah. That was beautiful. It really was. Like, I didn't think Cleveland could run the plays that they ran last night with Baker Mayfield. I didn't know they had that ability. I really didn't.
But, it was just a matter of time, though. Like, the talent that team has at the wide receiver and tight end position. They are a uber-talented team. Antonio Callaway... Oh, go ahead.
Their offensive line is really good, too. Like, I know they lost Joe Thomas over the offseason, but they have, like, Greg Bitonio? I'm not going to get the name
I'll
right.
take your word for it.
Okay. Talented left guard. Their offensive line is definitely one of the top 15 offensive lines in the NFL. And you put Todd Haley right over there, coaching that offense, they're going to be deadly. They're going to be deadly to come up with. I've tried to pump the brakes, but I can't.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. One other player, Carlos Hyde, you talk about the offensive line. He would look like he was hitting his stride last night. They were opening up holes for him. He was getting 4, 5, 6 yards at a time on most of his runs. And then every once in a while would break through for a 10, 12-yard first down. Man, he looked sharp. So the running game looked like it was hitting on all cylinders. And I think once you set up that pass game with Baker, the run game just kind of happens because there's not as much pressure on that. With Tyrod, it felt like the offense knew he couldn't get the ball to the receivers, so they kind of stacked the box, and it was a little bit harder to get the running game going. And once they were able to bring in Baker, the whole offense completely evolved. Everything worked. Everything looked good. Carlos Hyde is a talented running back that, they just needed to get him some holes and get him game planned correctly. And, the wide receivers, the tight ends. Okay, I feel like I'm going to probably talk about Cleveland for an hour. So let's talk about the Jets a little bit. There was another team that played last night against Cleveland. I think they were called the Jets. You remember who that was?
I know they showed up wearing green. Or I think it was white with, like, green stripes on the sides.
Huh. Okay. There was another team.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, they played the first half. I know that. When the other quarterback was in.
Yeah, and that first half, I was trying to watch it as detailed as possible without falling asleep. Once Baker came in, I couldn't fall asleep. Like, my eyes were wired open. And the Jets, what I could see in the first half was the Browns' offense did the defense a disservice. They couldn't stay on the field. They were having 3-and-outs. So as soon as the offense got the ball, they basically handed it back over to the Jets. And then the Browns' defense got tired towards the end of that first half and scored on two quick scoring plays. Isaiah Crowell runs the ball in both times. His second run in, he has that little bit of that celebration.
Talk about a fine right there.
Oh, boy. Yeah, and I don't get it either. I mean, he played for the Browns. I didn't know that there was ill will to the Browns fans. I didn't know there was blood in the water. I don't know what was going on there.
I heard this morning that there was he felt like he should have stayed in Cleveland, but they weren't willing to pay him as much as he wanted. Like, it was one of those situations.
It's always about the money.
Yes.
Always about that money. Yeah, and I mean, I saw that, and that was just not a very classy move by Isaiah Crowell. And, they go up, I think it was 14-0 at that point, and it looked bleak for the Browns. I was getting a little nervous. I said 14-0.
That's when I started to go in and out. And then I saw Baker come on the field, and I was like, all right, well, I need to start paying a little bit more attention to this and less to my work, that's what you do, you know.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean,
Yes.
when you're working, there's stuff to do, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes.
Yeah, and it was a tale of two halves. You've got Baker in the second half, lighting it up, and the Jets' offense couldn't do anything. And in the first half, the Jets were able to wear down the Browns' defense and score a couple couple drives, get 14 points. And, the final score is 21-17. Browns get the giant win. It was a great day for Cleveland and a great day for that sports town. And I'm happy for them. All right, we've gone 20 minutes into the Browns-Jets game. I think I'm going to have to probably move on to another subject before everybody tunes us out that's listening in, except for all of our fans in Cleveland. We've got a huge following in Cleveland, so this could be good. We could have really high ratings today. I'm looking forward to it.
All
right. So are you an MMA guy? Do you watch UFC or you get into that at all?
I'll be honest with you. I'm not huge into it. I'm not huge into boxing or anything like that, but I pay attention. Does that make sense?
Okay. I can dig that. So I'm a big fight guy. I don't like getting into the nitty gritty of all these like undercards and up and coming superstars and all that. I only watch the big names. When Brock Lesnar's fighting or Conor McGregor's fighting or Khabib when he's fighting. I'm a big name guy. Those are the ones that I get into. I don't get into the weeds with MMA, so I'm sure there's going to be some listeners that'll call me out and say I said something wrong because I don't. I'm not a diehard, but I'm a casual fan that likes some of these big fights. And yesterday was the first presser for Conor McGregor and Khabib. And you know what? It was exactly what I thought it would be. I went back. I didn't watch it live, but I went back and caught all the highlights from it. And it's a total train wreck like anything else Conor McGregor does.
Conor McGregor took a shot of whiskey during the interview? Yes.
Apparently, I think he owns this whiskey company. Like, I think he's trying to endorse his own whiskey.
Apparently, it's a lot better than Jameson. That's what I gathered.
That's what he told everybody. Like, Jameson, don't drink that crap. Like, drink this. This is delicious. Right. Everybody, take a shot. We're like, you're on a press conference for a big fight that you have coming up against a scary dude, and you're up there drinking whiskey. Like, what are you doing, man?
I didn't think they'd let me bring this bottle in, so I snuck this bottle in with my jacket,
Yeah, no, he did look very classy. He had his cool suit on with a little bit of that plaid-like pattern. He's a style guy. He was going in. He wanted to show his whiskey off. He wanted to talk trash, and he did all of that. Khabib was very, stone-faced. He didn't buy into all of it. Even when Conor was getting in his face, he didn't really get too involved, though he did call out Conor McGregor. He said with the whole bus incident, he said Conor was a good guy to him face-to-face one-on-one, but then when he rolls up with 40 guys deep and he's on a bus by himself or on a bus with just a couple other people, that's when he acts like a tough guy. So he knows his weakness. His weakness is that he needs 40 guys to back him up, and he's not going out there showing it one-on-one. So I think that. Man, I put a bet on this with Chris America. We're doing a romper bet. We did a romper bet last year for the Mayweather-McGregor fight, and I'm a foolish bettor. When we do these novelty bets, I always try to go with the underdog a little bit, and I like Conor McGregor. So last year I went Conor McGregor, and I lost, and I had to wear a romper out in public while we were doing a live recording. And so this year I'm doing the exact same thing. I'm going all in on McGregor. But I got a little nervous watching this press conference because he doesn't look like he's all business. He looks like he's out there playing around. He's not having, he just seemed like he's trying to have too much fun. Where Khabib is all business. He looks like he's intense, ready to throw down at any moment. I'm getting nervous, but I'm still going all Conor, man.
Conor's a showman, right? And he saw that big payday he got with the boxing match he was in last year. So I think he's trying to attempt to do the same thing of, hey, I'm going to show off. I'm going to talk my game. I'm going to blow up this fight so I can collect that cash at the end.
Yeah, and this came off too. Last night there was a big announcement. Apparently, the UFC has signed McGregor on for an 8-fight deal, so he's signed on for 8 fights. And
Oh, wow.
I think it's a money thing. So that news came out after the presser. Dana White knows that Conor McGregor is a cash cow. He knows that any fight that Conor's in is going to draw a huge crowd. He knows that like you said, he's a showman. So when he comes out and does all these crazy antics, what do people want to do? They want to watch. It's good TV.
I've watched one boxing match my entire life, and that was the Conor McGregor. Who'd he fight?
Mayweather. Yeah.
Mayweather.
Yes.
The Conor McGregor Mayweather. That's the only fight I've ever watched in my entire life. And why? Because, and I was willing to pay that $25, or I think it was like $25 to get in the bar that night. I was willing to pay that, but because of how much he hyped it up, I knew it wasn't going to be a great fight, but I wanted to see what happened at the end. I wanted to finish the story. And that's what he's going to do. He's going to hype it up. He's going to make it a story. And then we're going to see what happens. And it's going to sell pay-per-view. It's going to.
Yeah, he's like full WWE with how he's got like the entrance, he's got the outfit, he's got like the smack talk. He's got it all.
I was gonna make that comparison, but I didn't know how you would feel about it. So
I don't care. We could go all WWE. In the 90s, I loved wrestling. I probably haven't watched it in 10 years, but I can appreciate the pageantry of coming in, coming in style, like the old Ric Flair, Nature Boy, just music and just all the lights and the glitz and the glamour. Conor McGregor is just like that. He comes in, he talks the best smack, and I don't know, he's fun to watch. He's a train wreck because he says crazy stuff, but that's the intrigue. I love a guy that's just a loose cannon.
I agree. No, it sells. Tiger is to golf what Conor McGregor is to the UFC. No one's going to watch without the other one.
Oh, big time, man. Big time. And speaking of Tiger, I think you're going to segue us into our next big story that's out there. And
Yes.
Tour Championships going on. It started yesterday. And a man that knows pageantry, the fist pump, the red shirt on the Sunday, the man that everybody knows as the face of golf, and that is Tiger Woods, comes out, has a hell of a round, and on the 18th hole, finishes his round with an eagle, and then he walks into the clubhouse as the leader for the day, tied with Ricky Fowler. But, man, the guy's on top of the world again. I think he's back.
You can honestly talk about him passing Jack right now. You really can. You
Ooh,
can
that's
really
bold.
see it in Masters, obviously. You can really talk about that. And he's going to the Ryder Cup this year. That's going to be fascinating. He's got his game back. He really does. You feel that Tiger air in the air, and he's going. You could really. I'm not saying he's going to. I'm just saying. No, you know what? He's going to pass Jack. I'm willing to say it right now. He's going to pass Jack.
I say he gets at least 2 more, but I think he needs 4 to tie Jack. I could see him tying, maybe, but passing, I don't know if I can go that far, but I like where you're at. I like a good, bold prediction, man. This is what I like to hear. This is good stuff.
And the thing is, when I make these bold predictions, I'll gladly admit when I'm wrong. But I'd rather go with my gut and be wrong than say something that I'm not 100% on and be right. Does that make sense? You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying. See, I've got a different philosophy. I like to just throw bold predictions out all over the place, and then when one of them hits, I only talk about the one that hits, and I ignore that I was wrong with the other 10. So I'm like, oh, see, I'm a genius. I was right in this one situation. That's how I handle all my bold predictions.
That's not a bad way to make it work either. Really?
Yeah, no, it is not. So we're kind of up against the commercial break here. On the pre-notes that I sent over to you, on Fridays we always like to do a fun segment where we do our own fantasy draft. And, everybody's all into these fantasy football leagues. I'm sure, I don't know if you're in one, but everybody that has one, they always say, hey, did you see how many points Jarvis Landry got last night in the Browns game? Oh, man, he's really helping me out.
I actually have him on my team. He got me 11 points last night.
See? Hey, not bad. It's not bad. He needed a touchdown, but you should have got some points for that throw he had to Baker Mayfield for the 2-point conversion.
I got 2 points for that, so I'm satisfied.
That's a win. So
it is.
Well, instead of just going fantasy football, we like to sometimes throw in other subjects. So I sent you over a subject of fantasy football or fantasy draft of rock movies. So Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is one of the best actors, in my opinion. Everything he is in is solid gold. So you and I are going to do a little bit of a draft of best rock movies after the commercial break. And what we'll do is afterwards we're going to throw it out on Twitter, do a little poll, and we'll let the people decide who has the best team. We're going to pick 5 movies each. We're going to go back and forth. You ready for this?
Let's do it.
All right, so quick commercial break, and then we will be all in fantasy draft of rock movies.
When I'm working hard, I build up a thirst for sports. That's when I grab a cold 12-ounce sports radio. "12-ounce sports radio. Quench your sports thirst."
Oh, guess who it is? Did you know the station had a janitor? Oh yeah, the Hefe, otherwise known as Beck. And it's Beck's Work Week in Review live on 12-ounce sports radio every Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Catch interviews, special guests, and the recap of the week's news and headlines and box scores and results. It's Beck's Work Week in Review live on 12-ounce sports radio.
Scout Team listeners and friends of the show, I've got something special for you. It looks like 12-ounce sports radio has done it again. We have partnered with Rally House. You just go to the website 12ozsportsradio.com. Click on the banner on the right side of the page, and it will take you directly to Rally House. Rally House has some of the greatest, most unique sports items for that diehard fan, casual fan, and anybody and everybody out there that is special in your life. So go ahead and check it out. Once again, go to that website, 12ozsportsradio.com. Click on the banner to the right of the page, and you will get taken to the best sports merchandise website on all of the interweb.
Ring Central features all-in-one phone, messaging, and video conferencing. It's easy to use with unparalleled security. Ring Central simplifies things so you can grow. Call Ring Central to speak with a representative about a price for your growing business at 877-779-3860. Again, that's 877-779-3860.
Yeah, it is Friday, and you are listening to Scout Team Sports on 12-ounce sports radio. For all of our listeners out there, we have a great radio station with a ton of great shows, and I just want to go ahead and tell you a little bit about our lineup today. We have got a Sip of Sports coming on at 7 a.m. immediately after Scout Team this morning. Clutch Talk Sports on at 8 a.m. Cows and Quacks comes on every Friday. They have a great new show, great material that they're coming out with. We've got Beck's Work Week in Review, the Hefe, the program manager, the janitor himself on at 2 o'clock. Scout Team, Wednesday night After Dark show gets re-aired today at 4. We've got World Hockey Report this evening, TNT Sports, and the Primetime Angles show on at 10 o'clock. If you want to know about Vegas big-time sports betting, professional gambling on sports. The Primetime Angle Show is the best show out there. You got to check it out. Great
It's a
material
show.
there.
It's a really good show. It's intense. It's intense.
And Jimmy, I wanted to thank you again, Jimmy from What's Up Sports, for being on the show. Why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about your show and when they can hear it and some of this cool stuff you've got coming up?
Well, okay, so let me start with Sunday. On Sunday, I do a show with me, my co-host Chris, some weekends, and then I also got Jesse Williams from he's now with me. He was with the Rehab Sports guys. He's with me now, and David Delavedue. He was also with the Rehab Sports guys, and we do our NFL pregame show from 11:30 It's an hour and a half before kickoff. We run all the way up until kickoff. So if you want to get your fantasy lineup set up, you want to get your winners picked, go there. And then I have another show, What's Up Sports, with Jesse James at 10 o'clock Eastern Time on Tuesdays. And then my main show with Christopher Cook is at 12 to 2 Eastern Time on Thursdays.
Man, you're all over the place. You're lighting it up on the 12 Ounce Sports Radio, man. Good stuff.
I had a NASCAR show for a little bit, and I couldn't do it anymore. A solo NASCAR show for an hour a weekend, and then a post-race show. It was too much. I had to slow down.
Yeah, this will do that to you. I know when we were first starting out, we started doing Scout Team, and then I was like, I'm going to do my own show. I did a Loudbeard Sports podcast for a little bit, and it was just a solo one. And then I had my daughter join me for a little bit. She's a college athlete, so she was a lot of fun to have on and give her perspective.
Okay.
But
where does she play?
She actually is a soccer player. She plays for Lander University in South Carolina, and it's a Division II school, but they're having a great start to the year. I think they're 4-0-1 if I remember correctly.
Okay. My little brother plays for Ouachita Baptist University in Arkadelphia, Arkansas. It's a little D2 school also. He's playing defensive end for their football team up there.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes,
getting the perspectives from the college athletes was fun, but I got a little burned out because I was doing that. I was doing the Scout Team one, and then we were trying to jump on other shows, and then finally I said, okay, we need to figure out what we're doing here. So we focused on just the Scout Team evening show. And then once we kind of got our ducks in a row and figured out how to do some of the streaming and technology, we said, let's just try the morning show out. And it's great because we get it done before work. At least I do. And then it's done for the day. So this has kind of been a good show for us. And we're really excited about 12 Ounce Sports Radio, all the other great shows on there, and everything that's going on. But without further ado, we teased it before the break. It is time for our fantasy draft. And I'm going to let our guest, Jimmy, I'm going to let you go first. And I'm going to write this down because we are going to post this poll on Twitter afterwards to see who has the best team, 5 movies that are our favorite rock movies. And go.
All right. So this one isn't necessarily starring The Rock, but he's in it. I'm going Mona. You got to think of the kids first always. I'm going Mona.
All right, I like it. That's a good choice. He is very good in that. He's that fun uncle, I think, or something in there.
He's
haven't
like
seen
a god or something.
Oh, yeah, he's cool.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to go. This is probably my favorite rock movie. That's why I'm going number 1. I like the funny comedies, and Central Intelligence with Kevin Hart and The Rock. I mean, I laughed my hiney off during this movie, and yeah, I got to put that out there. Central Intelligence, it's got to be my number 1.
Okay, at number 2, I'm also going with the comedy, Pain and Gain, with Mark Wahlberg, and The Rock was absolutely hilarious. Have you seen it?
I have seen it, and
remarkable.
I mean, they're like the biggest knucklehead.
Yeah.
They both play it so well, and I mean, they're both jacked in that movie too.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're weightlifters in the movie. They stole a bunch of money. They steal a bunch of identities they kill people to steal identities, and then they have to play different identities. Like it's a really good movie.
That it is. So for my second movie, so I had Moana and I had Pain and Gain on my list, so I got to mark those off. This one, I don't want to pigeonhole myself by just going all comedies, but he's not the starring role in this one, but he is a very important part, and that is the movie The Other Guys. Have you ever seen this movie?
I did, and I thought about putting that on my list. It's hilarious, but I didn't realize he starred in it, so I wanted to...
Well, the scene, him and Samuel L. Jackson are like the two cool cops that everybody loves, and, you know,
Yes.
Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell are the other guys. And the scene when Samuel L. Jackson and The Rock look at each other, they give each other the look, and then they jump off like a 20-story building and think they can make it.
And
I don't know why, but that scene is the only reason why I picked this movie, because I remember that being one of the funniest scenes I've ever seen in a movie. I still laugh when I even think about it. So that's why that made my list. All right, number 3 for you, sir.
Any movie with Will Ferrell is
Yeah,
absolutely spectacular. I'm going to go Gridiron Gang with my third pick.
All right.
That movie meant a lot to me growing up, at least. So that's kind of more sentimental value, I guess. But I feel like that was one of his best roles that he truly played. I felt like The Rock actually like played himself in that. Like, I just felt like he truly embraced that role more than he has a lot of other roles. You know.
Yeah, no, that's a good choice, and you're trying to play to the football fans. So when we put the poll out, we're all sports people. I see where you're going here. That's a good strategy. I think I'm going to go one serious movie. Well, it's still a comedy, but a little less Kevin Hart comedy, more original Rock comedy. The Rock was in the movie The Rundown. It was one of his first movies, and it's a classic. I got to go The Rundown as my number 3.
Okay. I'm going to go Fast 5 at number 4.
Good choice. Good choice.
In my opinion, that's the best Fast and Furious out of all the series of them. In my opinion, that's the best one. That's the one they were in Rio de Janeiro. That's the one where The Rock first showed himself there, you know, and that was also the last one with, forget the guy's name, but
Paul Walker.
There you go.
Ooh. Yeah, you know what? That was next on my list. I think you stole my player. I get it though. That's how this happens. So next time I know not to let you go first. But that's cool. That's cool. So I'm gonna have to get a little bit more exotic here. You know what? You picked a kids movie to start out. I think I'm gonna pick a kids movie also because he's really cute in this movie and the kids loved it. I'm gonna have to go with The Tooth Fairy. You didn't expect that, did you?
No, I thought you were going to go another way with that. Honestly,
yep.
I didn't see The Tooth Fairy. Honestly.
I mean, The Rock as the Tooth Fairy, you can't go wrong. This is
that's
pure
a very fair statement.
cinematic gold.
Have you watched any of Ballers at all?
Oh, I love Ballers. Ballers
dude,
is a
me
great
too.
show. I've seen all the episodes. Yes.
Me too. I got HBO now. I'm going through it. But
When the music comes on at the beginning, I feel like, I don't know why, I get kind of goosebumps because it's kind of like that hype music to get the show started. And for some reason, it shows like, you know, clips of football, then they show cars driving, and it's like Miami or LA or wherever. I think they're in Miami. I can't even remember.
Yeah, they're in
and
Miami.
whatever it is, I get hyped every time I hear that music. Anyway, that's a side note. I digress. All right, so your last choice for your team, who do you got?
this movie made the most money out of any movie in The Rock's career. I'm going Jumanji.
Ooh, gosh. Another great movie. Kevin Hart also in that movie. I saw that movie in the theaters, and it is a from start to finish laugh out loud movie. And they took like the classic old Robin Williams Jumanji and made it with a twist. And
they're making a sequel.
They should. I mean, it was out of this world. So great choice there. All right, so you're definitely wearing down my list here. Let's see. Now, since this is my last pick, I'm going to go ahead and give you some of my honorable mentions, and I think I'm going to have to. I think I'm going to have to do it. I think I'm going to go another funny movie by The Rock, and that would be Baywatch. Okay. I liked Baywatch. I thought it was funny. Definitely going to stick with that one. Now, my honorable mentions, I like the movie Doom. It's a little cheesy. It's based off a video game, but I don't know why. I'm a little nostalgic. I like Doom. Scorpion King was also another good one. These are some of these old Rock movies before he was the megastar that he is now. And Walking Tall, I like that one. And the last one I had on my list was Rampage, not because I thought it was good, because I think it is good, but I haven't seen it, and I really want to see it, and it looked like it would be really good.
Yeah, no, I agree. What people don't realize is Rampage was a video game back in the day.
Yeah, it was like an old Atari video game or something, or like an arcade game, yeah.
Right, like you went to the arcade and you played Rampage, and you grabbed a monkey or a wolf or whatever, and you went and blew up buildings, and it was just fun.
That's back when video games were innocent. Well, I guess blowing up buildings and yeah. The details were much, much less grotesque. Nowadays, things get weird on video games. But all right, man, right. I feel good about my team. I hope you feel good about your team. We will let the ruthless people that live in the Twitter hemisphere go ahead and vote on this. Every week we've been doing it. Chris America beat me 2 weeks in a row. I came back last week strong and with a win. So we'll see how I do this week. I don't feel like I'm very good at this whole doing the draft on random other topics, but hopefully people like my list. And if you end up beating me, I'm definitely going to give you mad props out there in the Twitter world. So we'll see what happens.
If I go 1 for 1, I'm never coming back on your show on a Friday. Right now.
That's right. Retire. You got to retire while you're on top of the world. You're like the Barry Sanders. You're like, you know what? I did everything I could. I'm still young. I could still do it, but I'm leaving. I already did it.
Exactly.
All right, man. Exactly. So we got about 10 minutes left before we're going to wrap this sucker up. A couple other topics going on in the sports world. I know it's hard to – you have that fun fantasy draft, and then we got to switch back gears. Right. I don't know. There's a couple cool stories out there, and then we'll talk a little baseball. Okay. Have you been watching the wild card race at all? Not really, huh?
Here and there. Me and Chris talked about it on our show today, is how we, especially around this time of year, we routinely forget that baseball's still going on. But I have heard a little bit about the Red Sox-Yankees series, and that has been pretty fascinating, with the Yankees winning the first 2 and then losing last night. So, and Aaron Judge hasn't even gotten a hit yet in that series, so that's kind of fascinating. But
yeah,
as far as,
I was going to say it's been a great series, but with that win last night, the Red Sox end up clinching the AL East title, which we all knew was going to happen, but it's finally clinched on the Yankees field. So Red Sox are going to be the AL East. They're going to have the AL East title, and Yankees are firmly on that wild card spot. So, but Yankees have been looking good. They've been looking pretty good. They just last night, Red Sox looked better.
Right. No, I mean, they got all their pieces back. They're just like the Houston Astros. The Houston Astros just got they just got Altuve back. They're looking really good too, and they have the best run differential in Major League Baseball right now. So you put all that together, and I'm picking Houston to go back-to-back.
Ooh, I like it. Houston is one of those teams that just so much talent, and I feel like the leadership on that team they're clutch players. Like Altuve, he's a clutch player. He shows up when he needs to show up. He motivates the younger guys. Justin Verlander is an amazing pitcher. Dallas Keuchel's an amazing pitcher. They picked up Garrett Cole the last offseason. So I mean, their starting rotation is just sick, and their position players, I mean, they've got some superstars over there. So yeah, I could see Houston making a serious run and maybe going back to back. Dodgers have been playing hot as of late. Red Sox are having the best year of their existence, and they've been around for a very long time. So this could get interesting. I think we're a couple weeks out of things really starting to be fun with Major League Baseball. We're at that downturn of the season. It's like a marathon, and you're almost to that finish line. And that last little bit is fun because it's almost over. but you see the finish line. So we're almost there. We're almost to the really fun part. We gotta get through a little bit more.
Did you happen to see what the Rangers did yesterday for their last? It was for their last home series of the season.
I did not. Tell me.
They $1 beers, $1 tickets, $1 T-shirts, $1 everything at the ballpark yesterday.
You said at the Rangers, the Texas Rangers?
Yes.
I'm gonna have to drive over there just for this. I already missed it though, huh?
It was yesterday.
Ah. Now,
Yeah.
see, where were you? You should have called me a couple days ago. Send me a text. Beers, $1 tickets.
I should have sent you the meme. I should have sent you the meme. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's my fault.
Oh, that's crazy. As a baseball team, why not? You're playing so many games. You're playing what? 80 home or 81 home games, whatever
there.
Yeah. So if you have 81 home games, do you think one of those games you can have cheap beer and cheap tickets and just fill the stadium up? Because the Rangers aren't packing the stadium out every game because one, they're not that very good, and two, it's a big stadium, and people the season of baseball wears on people, so you're only seeing packed stadiums for the Yankees and the Red Sox, and you're only seeing it on primetime games. On these other games, on a weekday, on a Thursday, you're not going to get a lot of attendance. Do that, you probably end up having 10 times as many people show up to the game. It makes it fun for the team. It makes it fun for the fans. I love it. Again, this is like the Bud Light marketing with the Browns. You do things like this, man. You include free or cheap beer, and all of a sudden it is a home run of a marketing advertisement.
Oh, yeah.
You like that? I incorporated the home run thing on there. That was pretty witty, right?
Yeah. There you go. There you go.
All right, cool. So baseball, we're gonna talk more and more about baseball coming up here soon. But
real quick, to
go ahead.
clarify the Rangers thing, it's $1 tickets, $1 hot dogs, and $1 parking. That's what it was.
No, beer's still expensive.
But compared to if you're gonna go to a ballpark, you're probably gonna spend what, 60, 80 bucks on just parking and tickets. So you can just put that into beer money.
I like you. I like your math here because this works for me. This works for me. I can save here so I can spend it on my beer. That in its totality means that this is a win for Rangers fans. So yes, 100%. I'm on board. It's still a great promotion. Still 100% what we should be doing. A couple other stories out there. I talked about this, I think 2 days ago. So FanDuel had a fan win $82,000. And they said that the system glitched, and that's why the fan won. Something about how
convenient.
it worked. Yeah. So I think they got a lot of heat from this. I said on air, they need to just pay this guy. It's going to be bad publicity. And I had a few people tweet at me and say, no, you're wrong. They're never going to pay. That's not how this works. They don't care. They're not going to lose $82,000. I read a story yesterday. They decided to pay the man.
You know how many attorneys are probably calling the guy saying, hey, we'll hook you up,
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, 100%. So the story came out yesterday that they decided to go ahead and pay him after the glitch. Even though they acknowledged that it was a mistake on their end, they still paid the man. And I think that was very, very good for FanDuel, but you're right. I believe it was motivated by the attorneys and not by actually wanting to do that. So
yes.
That was another story. And here's one more this one, we talk about the greatest showman being Conor McGregor. This guy is the greatest showman, and that would be LeVar Ball. And his son, who actually plays in the NBA, I know LeVar gets all the attention. We forget that his son is actually an NBA player. And Lonzo Ball, Magic Johnson comes out, and I don't know if this is just Magic being a good showman and being a hype man, but Magic Johnson comes out and says, Lonzo is going to have a breakout season. He has adjusted his shot in a couple different ways that is going to make him unstoppable. Watch out for Lonzo just coming out and breaking out this season. Man, your thoughts, you think Lonzo with LeBron and LeVar and LaMelo and LaMagic can do it over there in Lakers?
I think LeBron, before he even signed with LA, told Magic, if LeVar causes me any problems, you're shipping out Lonzo. That's what I think. How do I think it's going to work? I think LeBron's going to probably play the 5 in that offense. But he's still got LeBron, and he's still going to be a ball hog. The rumor is LeBron wants to play off the ball, but we all know LeBron doesn't play off the ball. That's not LeBron's game. Lonzo might have a better year. He might have fixed his shot, but that shot was terrible to begin with. He was pulling it across his body. Like, that was... Who taught you to shoot like that?
LeVar. Yeah, I'm with you, man. It'll be exciting to see what LA is, but
yes,
I mean, this is a bold prediction. Lonzo breaking out. Magic might be going a little too far, but I respect Magic.
Yeah. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I misheard that. I didn't realize it was Magic that said that. I might have to
Magic Johnson's the one that said it.
I might have to take it in a little bit more consideration then.
It's hard though. It's hard to believe in all that.
It is.
All right, Jimmy. It's about 6:55. We usually wrap up the show about this time. Do you have any final things you want to say to our listeners? Maybe again, shout out your show, What's Up Sports, or any of the other shows that you do. Go for it, man.
Yeah, if you could, please come check out my show on 12 Ounce Sports Radio on Sundays, an hour and a half before kickoff. On the first kickoff, we give you your breakdown. I have my fantasy guy call in to help y'all set up y'all's fantasy lineups. On Tuesdays, I have my buddy Jesse James coming in, formerly from the Rehab Sports Guys. Got him with me now. And then on Thursdays, I got Christopher Cook with me. And it's
all right.
That's a great show.
Good times, man. Hey, thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming on with me today. Again, with Chris America being gone, you really stepped in and helped out a fellow 12-ounce sports radio show, and we absolutely thank you for that.
No problem. Love to have y'all on my show sometimes if y'all have the time. But
absolutely. We got to make that happen, man. We're going to make that happen real soon. All right, guys, have a great night or great day or great morning or whatever it is for you. Go Cleveland Browns. Thank you for listening to Scout Team Sports. Catch us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Scout Team Radio, and every Monday through Friday at 6 a.m. and again at 11 a.m. Eastern Time on 12 Ounce Sports Radio. Peace. We are out of here.